is you are a practicing interventional cardiologist.
Yes.
What percentage of the people you stent, like where you, how you said it so beautifully that you insert these metals into their blood vessels even without their knowing, no them
Yeah.
knowing. So what percentage of those metal stents that you put in people's heart blood vessels, what percentage do you see is because of its poor diet and lifestyle, and how much of it is genetic, how much of it is self-induced?
Almost all of it, what I do, almost all of it, as shocking as most, almost all of what I see is self-induced. Now, how much of this is genetic? So, right. So, how about this? You can look this up. So, beautiful question, because it comes up, right? Arjun asked a question: how much of this is genetic? Right? So there's certain influences that are non-modifiable, quote unquote, that I can't change my gender, I can't change my genes. Really? How about this? We all have it. Let's not lie. We all have family members who suffered prematurely. And then we have this notion that we built in and say, hey, you know what? This is a genetic curse. And then I have had my own patients who said, Doc, I hear you. I get your message, but the damn disease runs in my family. So this is a true story. There are actually American Heart Association videos on this. So the scene is 2017 October, and we are in the International American Heart Association meeting, right? And at the meeting, a man has a massive cardiac arrest, almost dies on the floor of the American Heart Association meeting, gets cardiac chest compressions, gets airlifted, he almost died had it been not for the defibrillator technology, gets airlifted to a nearby hospital, gets 2 stents put into what we call, in a non-medical term, the widowmaker artery, the left anterior descending. And that man was the incoming 47-year-old president of American Heart Association. Right, Dr. Warner. So brilliant mind, he's one of the thought leaders in the field. So the next day or 2 days later, and this is where the message is, you can just Google this. And he gave a message to the rest of the country and saying that, look, I may be paraphrasing this because I don't have the slide in front of me, but there are no old men on either side of my family. Everybody's life has been cut short by this genetic disease, and the onus is on all of you, which is us in the interventional cardiology community or the cardiology community, to find a solution for this. But here is this. So we already have the technology. We can now quantify a person's genetic risk, meaning that they're currently available, not at any routine hospital, but they're currently available research tools using mostly genetic testing and blood work that we can quantify. I can look at any one of your blood tests and say, hey, your genetic risk is low, intermediate, or high. Let's say my risk comes as high. And then I am freaking out. I don't want to die because so now what I said to myself, you know what, my genetic risk is high, but what I'm going to choose to do is that do very simple things. I'm never going to use tobacco products. I'm going to eat as healthy as possible, which is predominantly a plant-based diet, not exclusively as per their definition, right? And then I'm going to be very simple, like 15 to 20 minutes a day of walking. Okay. And always maintain my BMI. Are you guys ready for this? Maintain my BMIs below 30. And Arjun is going, what the heck are you talking about?
You're being very generous.
I'm not making this up. These are the definitions of and what they concluded was that if you just do these 4 things, the data is so powerful that behind my desk at work is a huge teaching board. And before me getting into lifestyle medicine space, anytime you walk into, there used to be all kinds of physics and hemodynamic equations on it. Now there is a simple statement: healthy living is the best form of revenge. Based on this paper, which showed that if you do these 4 things, even in the setting of a high genetic risk, that your lifetime risk of a stroke and heart attack can be lowered by 55 to 60%. So based on that, I came up with a theme called if our health-related fate is written in our DNA, as it relates to common chronic disease. I'm not talking about Down syndrome, cystic fibrosis, or single chromosome or single gene mutations. I'm talking about multiple genes and multiple, like, high blood pressure, diabetes, those kind of things. That fate is written in pencil, people. Our genetic fate is written in pencil, meaning that we have an opportunity to rewrite it. I'm going to say this again. We have an opportunity. When it comes to common chronic diseases that most of us are suffering with, we do have an opportunity even to prevent from our genes from actually being expressed. So that's what a long-winded answer, but I just want to share these stories so people connect with the story.
Yes,
right?
yes. Stories
And
are so powerful, right? Like sometimes when we just give them information, hey, you do this, you do this, like information alone is not enough. Like we say, you need information, you need inspiration, right? You need to find ways how to inspire yourself, and you also need to implement. It's the information, inspiration, and implementation. What brings about the transformation that you're looking for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I could not agree more, because information is easy, but we all relate to stories, right? That's human experience. All of our human experience is stories. So yeah, but to directly answer your question, majority of my patients, I want to say almost over close to 80-90% of patients, even if they have genetic risk, that, what's the point in smoking if you have a genetic risk? Why would you gain weight, and why would you eat junk processed foods, and on top of a genetic risk? So that kind of stuff. So majority of it is modifiable, even in the setting of high genetic risk. I keep repeating that, but it's a point worth repeating.